Okay, so in this video, I'm going to cover the 4 things that you can do to fix the actual root cause of hair loss. So this is really focusing on getting to the root cause, which is obviously really important because hair loss is a lifelong condition. So if you want to win that war, you have to, if you want to beat hair loss long term, you have to get to the root cause. Otherwise, you're just going to be simply fighting this battle, fighting a losing battle against hair loss for the rest of your life. So if you want sustainable long-term results and you want to fix it in the long term, then you need to get to the root cause. And this is how you do it, basically in order of importance. And also, by the way, this is a small part of a larger presentation that I made. So if you do want to watch that full presentation and get some of the backstory and the science and look at the studies, then I'll link to that longer form video down below in the description. So you can go and watch that. But for now, let's jump into these 4 main steps to get to the root cause. So step number 1 is that you need to reduce the chronic tension, because everything, when it comes to male pattern baldness, androgenetic alopecia, everything starts from this first initial trigger, which is the tension. And the tension comes from these 3 main muscle groups. So you have the front, the sides, and the back. And these 3 muscle groups, they pull on the glare, and that's what causes this chronic tension that leads to this cascade of effects that leads to inflammation. And then in the presence of DHT, that leads to fibrosis, and that leads to all the other things that basically cause the hair follicles to miniaturize. So although we don't know exactly why the muscles become chronically tight, we know that it's related to genetics and it's related to diet and lifestyle and things like that. So there's obviously this genetic factor to it. We're not too sure why it really happens in the first place, although we are doing some research on that and that's underway, but that's obviously a long-term plan to look at what causes this tension in the first place. Anyway, your first line of defense against hair loss, male pattern baldness, should be to reduce this chronic tension so that the scalp isn't being compressed so aggressively. And just keep in mind that it takes time to reduce this muscular tension, this tightness, right? This isn't going to happen overnight. But the good thing is when you work on reducing the tension, you're obviously getting to the root cause, but you're changing the actual, the structure of the muscles. You're actually remodeling those scalp tissues. You're reducing that muscular tension, and those changes last a long time, and you can improve it more and more and more. So it's one of those things that's kind of like a slow burn thing, but the results that it gives you last for a long time, if that kind of makes sense. So next up, and kind of the next step in the cascade, is to reverse fibrosis. So you can see in advanced stage balding scalps, these scalps are thin and hard and shiny, and that shows that there is fibrosis there. And by the way, if you don't know what fibrosis is, you really need to understand it if you want to understand hair loss. So I go into that in the full presentation. So if you do have visible hair loss from male pattern baldness, you have fibrosis. It's as simple as that. So imagine like scar tissue-like formations throughout the scalp that are the result of chronic tension in the presence of DHT. So first, you do want to stop the chronic tension, and then you want to go about proactively reversing some of that fibrosis. And reversing fibrosis, honestly, is not really an easy thing to do. It is pretty tough. And it takes time because you're literally remodeling the scalp tissue. You're getting rid of scar tissue. And it's a lengthy process, which is why male pattern baldness is so hard to regrow your hair, because of fibrosis. The scalp tissue has literally changed and become a formation of disorganized collagen, aka scar tissue. So it's a lengthy process, but it's necessary, and it's where you make sustainable long-term progress. So the third step, which it kind of depends on your personal preferences and how aggressive your hair loss is. So DHT plays a critical role in this creation of fibrosis. And since we're trying to stop and get rid of the fibrosis, blocking DHT does help with this. And so it's not 100% essential to block DHT. You can just focus on these other steps. If you're really sensitive to changes in your hormones, then you may not want to block DHT with a DHT block like finasteride, dutasteride, saw palmetto, ketoconazole. They might affect how you feel. But if you have really aggressive hair loss, then blocking DHT will be a really important step and a big help, because once you block DHT, then you can't get more fibrosis. So it's easier to reverse the fibrosis that you have, if that kind of makes sense. And for me, this really comes down to personal preference, and it comes down to how aggressive your hair loss is. The more aggressive your hair loss, the more aggressively you need to block DHT. So our goal kind of is to reduce the tension enough that you can eventually not need to block DHT, but blocking DHT at the start will help you a lot in the meantime. So that's up to you if you want to use, finasteride, dutasteride, low dose finasteride, topical finasteride, saw palmetto, something like that. Okay, and step number 4 is improving the blood flow. So this last step is more about reactivating the dormant follicles, right? It's about speeding up the recovery. Since we've already, sort of fixed that root cause, which is the tension, it's the fibrosis, you're kind of just reactivating, getting those dormant hair follicles going again. And this is where other traditional options can be used based on your personal preferences. Things like minoxidil, PRP, red light therapy, topical caffeine, they all work because they stimulate blood flow on the surface of the scalp, right? You're not really fixing the root cause, but they do help to reactivate. And interestingly, more blood flow, it also helps with point 2, right? Reversing fibrosis, because you need to create new tissue, and you need to heal the existing tissue, and that requires blood flow, basically. If you're trying to heal a tissue, you need that improved microcirculation to bring the building blocks, the new protein, the new nutrients and minerals and oxygen to the tissues to help it reheal. So improving blood flow is super important, but it's kind of step 4. Anyway, those are the 4 main steps. Hopefully this kind of makes sense. If you want to, fill in your knowledge around the subject and learn about things like the hair loss cascade, which is up here, I've done another video just focused on that. But if you want to learn, how this whole process is taking place and why, then go and watch my other videos, and you can go and watch the mini series, or you can watch that full hour-long presentation, and that will explain everything about hair loss so that you can really fix it at the root cause, and you can build a treatment stack that really works for you. So leave a comment down below. If you have any sort of question, I will 100% answer it, even the really silly questions, which we'll probably get a lot of on YouTube. So leave your question down below and go and watch those other videos.